Within the Silver City, in heaven, a group of angels pleads and implores that a quorum of angels be called into session. An angel named Catarista Judicium, the angel of history and records, calls for attention. Angel Catarista Judicium, she speaks.
Please, listen to me. We are at a juncture where I believe that we may be on the very precipice of the hidden prophecy coming true. The hidden prophecy's signs and its portents, they are all present. Their message is clear. We may need to all get together and call a quorum of the archangels to address what's going on, to remedy the darkness that is falling upon and casting its wicked shadows over mortal earth and over humanity. I remind you all of a horrible history of a past time full of hubris, pride, and so many sins. It was a time that can repeat itself even now. Its wickedness is not limited to an era past. Its wickedness can happen right now, here in the present, or in our very near future. It's evil. It can target anyone and target any group of people, anytime, anywhere. Its dark tentacles, they can reach far and deep, and they can target people of faith or any affiliation. Let me share some tales, should any of you not know of what happened in the first half of the 1900s, almost 100 years ago. A nightmare tale of world-scale genocide and horrors under a ruthless human named Adolf Hitler in World War II, under the world-dominating forces of the Nazi regime, the Third Reich. While I will retell the history, and I will share some memories and poems, all from the souls of Holocaust survivors past, it is important to remember, most of all, that Hitler targeted far more people and groups than just the Jews. And even so long ago, with much lower populations on the world, 6 million Jews alone were killed. 60% of the entire Jewish population across the world. There is nothing that precludes the next wicked empire from targeting a different group, a different race, or different religion. There is nothing that stops the rising Fourth Reich of global evil from oppressing and killing people or groups that are different than those historically targeted by the Third Reich, by the Fourth Reich's predecessor. The Third Reich, under the ruthless rule of Adolf Hitler, may have only been the beginning. Let me emphasize this. There is nothing that precludes the next powerful and wicked elite people. There is nothing that prevents these evil elites and oppressors from targeting different groups or races, or from targeting different religions. They could even target many groups and religions at the same time. It is scary, but important that we recognize what I am saying is true. There is nothing that precludes sinister, wicked, evil people from targeting Christians or their allies, or simply friends, or from targeting God Himself. Well, with that reminder, that every human being is in threat, let me share these souls' memories of the Holocaust.
Remember the Holocaust. Never forget the nightmares. Never forget the Holocaust and all of its horrors. And never forget its immense, horrific nightmares. And never forget its atrocities on humanity. And never forget its total horrors. And never forget the sorrow, the suffering. And never forget the genocide, the death. And never forget the callous extermination of people. And never forget the mass elimination of so many people. And never forget the immense loss. President Eisenhower had said, "Get it all on record now. Get the films, get the witnesses, because somewhere down the road of history, someone will get up and say that this never happened." Shimon Peres wrote, 6 million of our people live on in our hearts. We are their eyes that remember. We are their voice that cries out. The dreadful scenes flow from their dead eyes to our open ones, and those scenes will be remembered exactly as they happened. Simon Wiesenthal, Holocaust survivor, wrote, "For evil to flourish, it only requires good men to do nothing." Elie Wiesel, Holocaust survivor, wrote, "Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented." He also wrote, "We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim." Simon Wiesenthal also wrote, "It is not written law that the next victims must be Jews. It can also be other people. We saw it begin in Germany with Jews, but people from more than 20 other nations were also murdered." Martin Niemöller, a Holocaust survivor, wrote, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." Elie Wiesel wrote, "Never shall I forget that night, that first night in camp that turned my life into one long night 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget that smoke. Never shall I forget the small faces of the children whose bodies I saw transformed into smoke under a silent sky. Never shall I forget those flames that consumed my faith forever. Never shall I forget the nocturnal silence that deprived me for all eternity of the desire to live. Never shall I forget those moments that murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to ashes. Never shall I forget those things, even were I condemned to live as long as God Himself. Never forget the Holocaust. Tell others so they too can know, and they too can retell how easy it is for evil to slither into our world, into our culture, and how easily evil can infiltrate deep into our lives, and how evil can destroy everything, and how evil can willingly kill its neighbors. Remember and share. Do not be silent. Be ready and unite. Let not evil thrive, and let not evil return to inflict tormenting horrors and death upon us all. It is in our hands to protect our children and our futures. Never forget. Remember.